Alright everyone, you've probably noticed by the time you watch this I'll have recorded a ton of videos on the Friday night, early Saturday morning to be spread out over the weekend. I think, I'm just going to look, at time of recording this I had recorded 1, 2, 3 that I set to go out on the Friday night, and then there was 1, 2, 3, 4 set to go out on the Saturday, and so far 2 have been set to go for the Sunday, and this might be the third one for the Sunday. It's just because I've got a very busy and stressful day tomorrow, and I don't know what time I'm going to be back, and depending on what mood I'm going to be fancy doing videos when I get back. And if don't do anything tomorrow and tomorrow evening, then I've got nothing for Sunday because I'm out Sunday as well. And I didn't want to leave no content. I like to have stuff constant, even if it's not just views, it could be opinion pieces or analysis. So I've done them all pretty much this evening, pretty much straight after the England match. So I've explained why a few videos I'm appearing in the same t-shirt. It's because I've done them all on the same night. At the moment, you'll probably be viewing this like say Sunday morning, and as I'm recording it, it's 25 to 1 on Saturday morning. Now, by the time you're viewing this, I've done a deeper look at a player called Savakavashvili, and then I did the links and should we sign him, because he's come from the same youth academy as, say, the likes of Kavaksalia.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I have no idea why my Echo Dot just went off there. The joys of technology. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't know. As I said, I don't know why I did that. I was on about he's come from the same academy as Kavica Kavaksalia. No, it wasn't that triggered it. That's just thrown my train of thought completely. Yeah, I did the deeper look at this player, and then I looked at the link, and it got me thinking when I was reading the article. I mentioned it in the video. Yes, we can't sign them until autumn 2026, so September 26, I think it was, when they turn 18. And it'd be an understudy for a left back, but they could also be a ball playing centre back, ball playing number 6. They look a very versatile player. And I was thinking, in England we have the PSR rules, FFP, whatever you want to call it, like the financial rules, where we've got to be mindful of what we spend now. We can't just spend what we want. We can't have owners say, right, here's 500 million, spend it. We can only spend them what we've earned on, because the PSR is the profit and sustainability rule. So there's more an emphasis on developing players rather than spending 100 million on a player. Gone are the days when clubs can just go, right, we're going to buy a left back for 50 million, a centre back for 50 million, another centre back for 100 million, a right back for 200 million. Not that anybody ever done that, but you get where I'm going with this. Gone are the days when they can just say, right, we're going to do that. Ignore the fees, they're irrelevant, but the principle is the same. They can't just go and buy, in summer, a 1 to 11 and pay 100 million for them all. Even if they could afford it. Those days are gone, I think. So, we're looking at developing players. Now this Sabakov, what's his surname again? Sabakarabashvili. So if we look at players like that, and we looked at another link for an Argentinian wonder kid, and that was Franco Mastantuano. What other wonder kids have we been with? Jesus Rodriguez. See if I can find some others. Let's have a look. Right. Gilditz. Young player. He'd cost money. There's Angel Gomez. He's a young player. Murillo. Young player. We're looking at the likes of Dean Huijsen and Kerkers. They cost money, but they're young players at the end of the day. So we look at all these links to young players. Players that would be bought in for various fees for, say, ages late teens to, say, 21, 22. And you could get a decade out of them, maybe 6-7 years out of them, sell. If you had to sell for huge fees later on, then okay. But you could also have them as the mainstay for the future and then buy the next generation. So the example I think I used was, we're thinking of replacing Robbo and potentially Simicas. I think it'd be more Robbo. So Milas Kerkes was the one that mentioned, and he's nearly 22. And then you've got this Georgian, who's currently 16. So Kerkes would be 23 when he, just after he would be able to be signed. But you can do a pre-agreement now. So you'd have this kid coming at 18, 5 years younger. So by the time this kid's 22, 23, Kerkes would be 28, reading. So then you've got the next player down the line, and you've got like a reliable youth system where you're bringing in players, developing them, and integrating them into the first team. If you look at how Brighton do it, for example, I'm not saying copy the Brighton model, because you can't copy another team's model. You have to develop your own. But FSG won't go along that route. They would buy on the aim to sell for a profit, whereas I'm thinking of buy on the premise that they can continue it's like a seamless transition through the generations, through the team. So you're not buying to sell, you're buying to cover the future. I just don't like this buy to sell model that they've got. So why can't we buy these? Why can't we buy the next Vinicius Jr. or the next Endrick or the next Arda Güler or the next Kvaratskhelia or the next Mo Salah even. Why can't we start looking at expanding the youth and that? I mean, yes, we've got the players. I mean, we've got Rio. That I can't think of his surname off the top of my head. We've got Coney Doherty. We've got some young players. I mean, I watched them. They both played in the, I think it was the Youth League, in the draw with Stuttgart. And they played really well. We came from 2-0, I think we came from 2-0 down and lost on a penalty shootout or something. I can't remember, it's a while since I saw the game. But why can't we improve our youth? It's improved the developing of young players over here. I remember it was just after, there was West Germany at the time when they won the World Cup, when in Italy in 1990. So there might be some viewers on here won't even know that game. It was won, if memory serves me rightly, by an Andres Bremer penalty in what was a really boring final. And I think if we'd got past the West Germans in the semi-final, because we lost on penalties, is when Chris Waddle and Stuart Pearce missed. I think, was it Stuart Pearce saved and Chris Waddle hit it over the bar? If we'd got to the final, we would have won it. And that was when we had, if you've ever heard the Gazetteers thing and seen the Gazetteers, maybe it was when he got booked knowing he would miss the final. It was the era of Gary Lineker, John Barnes, David Platt. But I remember going to Germany. It was a school trip. Now, I was used to growing up seeing signs saying no ball games, keep off the grass. Never saw any of that in Germany. Kids played on the streets. They played where they wanted. They weren't restricted like we were as kids for that. And that's improved over here, but it's probably where I had a sort of love for the grassroots, because I realised how it was in Europe. I mean, Brazil, they're on the beaches training with tennis balls and all sorts, learning the ball control with tennis balls. It was an era where, and I've seen this, where there's too much emphasis on winning and losing at, like, say, the ages of 8 and 9. And now the more the premise is let them enjoy the game. So I was thinking, should we not improve like that setup? We're seeing, as I've done these deeper looks, you've seen players who come through, like, say, various European clubs you've set up and gone straight into the youth team. You don't see as many for Liverpool as you do like in other countries. Or is it just me? Do you think we have less players coming through and becoming huge successes compared to, say, other clubs? I mean, this Tbilisi you've set up, we're getting then one of their prospects from the keeper, and sorry, I really should have sat somewhere else. That light is right in the eye. It's just, I think, the angle I'm sat. Because I normally have a different light on. I normally have this like a side light on, I think. So that's why I'm looking down, because I look up and I see the bulb. I've got notes on the screen. I look up, I see a bulb. Yeah. Sorry, I was digressing. But going back to this Tbilisi, we're signing their goalkeeper, Georgi Mamardashvili. He came from there. One of their youth projects went for like 60 to 70 million, was it? In Kavicikelia. If they've been able to produce talents like that, how much? I mean, obviously, yes, we've got Trent. We produced Stevie G. We had Carragher. But there's not. I mean, some will say Curtis Jones. We bought Sterling in. We bought Harvey Elliott in. But is there? Should we not look at how some of these clubs like Tbilisi or Ajax or Sporting, look at how they recruit, because they do fantastically well. I mean, look at the PSG model now. They're aiming for the younger, more homegrown based build, instead of buying the superstars from like the Neymars, the Messis, and trying to fit them into a team. They're trying to get players that fit the team, not get the team to fit the player. Because it didn't work for them, and this PSG side is much better than I've seen before. They're a really good PSG side. Whereas if that had been like, say, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe not even that, maybe 2 or 3, when they had Messi and co, I'd have been more confident, because I know the side could be very disjointed. But the model, the way they're going now, they're going for a certain profile, and it's working for them. And then going back to FSG, they're going on the buy to sell model, which I don't like. I'd rather we bought players that fit the system and the club, and then down the line they can be integrated in, and when somebody moves on, we've got a natural ready-made replacement. I mean, yes, now and then buy somebody to immediately strengthen the first team, or by all means. But it makes me wonder, and if I'm wrong on this, please feel free to say in the comments, but we've got the likes of Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold running out of contract. Now with Trent, we've got Conor Bradley, who's come through. We were lucky there. But who's come through? Who's the central defender equivalent to Virgil van Dijk? Is Ben Doak the equivalent for Mo Salah, if you know what I mean? He could well be. He's had a good season. But if we lost Konate, there's no... I mean, I don't think Kwanzaa's the long-term solution. But alright, we've got Kwanzaa, I suppose. But if you go into the midfield, I don't think I just think the drop-off's a bit too... and quality's a bit too much. If you could just have a steady line of quality young talent that come through, and I'm probably not making any sense in this video, and I do apologise for that. But I just want to say, should we be looking more at the European, or, well, I'd say European because I don't know if the South Americans do this. Should we take more of a gamble on the youth? On the younger players, the wonder kids? Or should we just focus on buying players to sell at a profit? I think we should take the gamble, but that's all for this video. I apologise if it makes no sense. I know what I wanted to say. I have no idea if I've explained it very well or not. But I'm not re-recording it to redo again, because there's chances I might explain it even worse. You know? Alright everyone, thank you very much.